Hello everyone, welcome to Harsh IT Lab. Harsh Verma this side, and I'm very sorry for the interruption or interrupt disconnection in the last video because I had some saddening news. But that is not something that will prevent or restrict my further uploads, future uploads. So I am back again with the next video in the same series, hardware side, because we have not finished the topic in our last time. So we will continue with the same. So, for those who are first time watching this video, we are actually covering the book Network Warrior, which is the kind of more of practical applications of the networking engineering things and often deals with the topic that we missed during our CCNA preparation. So, let me first start with showing you the book. This is the book Network Warrior, Everything You Know That Was Not on the CCNA Examination. And this book is written by Gary Dono, and I'm not going to read this book cover to cover, actually only covering the things that I think that it is worth sharing. So without any further delay, let open our SSH session. Let me zoom it so you guys can also see. I think this much of zoom is enough. Okay. So we have studied about the switch virtual interfaces. We have studied that SVIs need to be enabled in NXOS, Nexus OS, the latest data center line of Cisco switches. Okay, we have only little bit of discussed that what LLQ is, which stands for low latency queuing. We have only touched the topic redundant power system (RPS), which itself is a hardware topic for the power backup. Then we moved to FEX, which stands for Fabric Extender, which is a technology used in networking as a remote line card for Cisco Nexus switches. So, in simple terms, basically it extends the data plane while keeping the management plane same as its parent switch. So, it does not have a management plane of its own. So, it will be controlled by the existing chassis switches. I have not seen a fabric extender even in my 2 years of career in data center. But these are a thing, and maybe this thing is of a past, or maybe I am not been into a such legacy type of organization in which these things are still in use. So I am not the one who can for sure assure that I have seen these things, but this is a thing that we need to know. Maybe in future, always be hopeful that in future we will get such opportunity to work with this kind of magnificent and efficient machines. Okay, so basically we are today discussing the modules and their types for the Cisco chassis switches or the modular switches. We've also learned that earlier the switches that won't have a multi-layer facility, multi-layer basically routing capabilities. So we used to add an additional card which is called as MSFC, which stands for multi-layer switch function card, to extend its functionality or provide the inter-VLAN connectivity, because the most common use of having a routing capability on a switch is to enable the multi-VLAN by creating sub interfaces. Okay, so basically this is the thing. And along with those MSFC, we also have few more modules available on which we have examples like NEBS, FWSM, CSM, NAMS, ACE, and Ethernet modules. Let me scroll it down. There may be few more modules like IDSM, FlexWAN, and CMM. So, starting with the first one, NEBS stands for Network Equipment Building System, while FWSM stands for Firewall Service Module. CSM stand for Content Switching Modules. NAM stands for Network Analysis Module. ACE stands for Application Content Engine. Ethernet module is itself self-explanatory. Basically, it's an interface, Ethernet interface. Next is IDSM, which stands for Intrusion Detection System Module. Next is FlexWAN. Uh, for the first thing, when I studied about the FlexWAN, actually, I just wanted to be transparent and say truth that this is the first time I have heard about the FlexWAN. The only thing that I know with a similar name was the Flex capabilities or Flex Connect capabilities of a Cisco access point, which is Meraki. So, in which that basically it offload some management control capabilities to the AP access point itself, So even when it was disconnected from the controller, WLC, wireless LAN controller, it can itself control and route traffic. So that was it about the Flex Connect. But I'm not aware of what a Flex WAN is. So we will see that. Maybe it will be like a similar concept, but for a different purpose. We will see. And finally, the CMM stands for Communication Media Module. Okay. Now, modules expect switches running the native iOS. Despite being hot swappable, they have a limitation to be powered off before removing. Okay. So, in order to get a proper functionality, switch need to be shut down and then powered on, so modules can be equipped fully, despite having them a nature of hot swappable. Okay. Now, why this is mentioned here that modules expect switches running native iOS? Because we have just seen that in previous earlier times, the switches which were running CatOS, when we use the multi-layer module, the multi-layer functionality module, it runs the iOS. So basically, it was a hiccup for the interaction, or what to say, the interamalgamation. So basically, it requires the iOS to have the latest and greatest feature by that time in order to get a full functionality of the modules. Now, we will discuss about the different modules in which context. I have not written a lot about each and every module, so this video may be going to be a long one. So I will try to explain, and I will also try to understand what which I missed during my previous read. So, a network fabric is a mesh of connection between network devices. Basically, I was confused that what a network fabric is. So, first we have to describe a fabric of cloth, or the cloth or t-shirt that I'm wearing. It's also a fabric. So, when first we describe the fabric, the network fabric will be much more easier to understand. So it is a mesh of connections of different threads. So just like this, the mesh of connections of network devices is called a network fabric. Devices may be like switches and routers that facilitates data transport across the network. So yes, both devices have different purpose, but what they do same is to transfer the information from one place to another. It can refer to both physical wiring and virtualized structure that simplifies network management and enhance connectivity. So let me exemplify. If you have read about spine and leaf topology, you please go and read it. So basically, spine and leaf topology comprise of two basic in the most limited context. It comprises of two layers in which one act as a leaf while the other act as spine. So the simple topology that every leaf must connect to every spine in order to smoothen out or faster east to west traffic. So it is a physical form of deployment of a fabric, because when you connect, for example, you have four switches as a spine, and then you have four switches as a leaf. If you connect if switch to every leaf, the mesh itself that is created by wire, not mesh, it is mesh created by the wire. It looks like a fabric in itself. So it's a physical kind of deployment which you can help to understand or this concept fully. Or what we can do is to make some virtual tunnels between each of them. Okay, so it's also kind of a mesh, but it will be in a virtual deployment. Okay, for example, if we have a simple switch, we only have one links to every other switch. This is not an ideal situation, but what we can do, we can create tunnels between each switches. So, or we can create tunnels between the devices that is connected from each switches. So on a device layer, on a virtual level, we can also create a mesh. So every device has a single hop to connect with the other one. And actually we were doing the same using the spine and leaf topology in order to facilitate the east-west traffic. Okay. And if this word, the east-west traffic, is new to you, let me explain you that actually the traffic flows start from the ISP, the internet service provider, to the down point or endpoint devices. So the usual traffic flows from the north to south, from the up to the down. Okay, while east-west traffic means that two devices which is on a same level or same level of hierarchy will have to communicate with one another, and the traffic only goes between them, not to the ISP, not to any other device. So that is east-west traffic. Now we will study fabric bus and crossbar switching bus. Actually, this is explained a little bit better right down the same page. Okay, so we will get back to that. Okay, now we were discussing about the switch fabric module. Actually, I've just written it because I feel like I have repeated it. Okay, no, so this was not repeated. Actually, it's an another form of module which is called switch fabric module. Okay, so the buses inside of 6500 series switches, we have different kinds of buses: D bus, R bus, C bus, and cross fabric bus. So I actually don't have any idea what we were studying or talking about. So let me honest with that. But the book mentions that D bus has a role of transferring data between modules, while a R bus role has to communication between modules and switching logic. The C bus has a role, or also known as control bus, has a role of communication between line card or network management processor on the supervisor. The supervisor is basically called a parent. Okay, and finally the crossbar fabric bus, which has a role of connectivity between nodes using intersecting path. So basically, what I feel that these kind of buses are the maintainer of the fabric that we are creating, and in order to facilitate the communication, in order to pass the traffic from east to west, whether it may be north or south, so from the all direction, omnidirectional traffics. Now we will study a little bit about, I guess we are actually not studying anything about, but we actually this book mentions about the topic of DCEF, which stands for Distributed Cisco Express Forwarding. Okay, now, few disclaimers that not every port supports all form of line card and modules. So do refer to the card capabilities as per switch model, which is highly subjective and highly dependent. So please go through that. Now, the processor of a Cisco chassis based switch is called a supervisor. So here we studied about what a supervisor is, and here we get the answer that the processor of a Cisco chassis based switch is called a supervisor, and sometimes also referred as subs. So supervisor is also referred as sub in the common talking language of network engineers. Now we will study about the PFC, the policy feature card, and I very sure that I have mentioned the PFC, policy feature card, in the above modules. Have I? Okay, so it was also missing. So never mind. So we were policy feature card. The policy feature card show modules command will list all the installed modules with their respective serial number. So this is not something about particularly policy feature card. It's a simple command that shows that what modules are installed on a switch. Show fabric switching mode demonstrate how different modules interact with each other. So basically, this is the mention of few most commonly used commands in a chassis based or such modular switches. Next is show fabric utilization or show fabric status, represent the percentage usage of the fabric bandwidth. So everything is limited because these are resources and these are limited, so we have to keep an eye on the respective resources using these two uh, commands. Now we have ACE module, and what does ACE module stands for? Yes. So AC modules have replaced the CSM for load balancing needs. Okay. So which is kind of content module. So it has replaced the CSM for load balancing needs. Actually, I must have written the full form with along with the abbreviations right here, so I don't have to jump to that specific line. Okay, communication media module. So communication media module has replaced the CSM content switching module. Okay, so this was it. Yes, FWSM. operates on a context mode. To check the context, we can use the show context command, and change context command will switch to the mentioned context. So FWSM, which kind of it's a guess that FWSM means firewall. Let me search it quickly. FWSM. So actually, I'm not finding anything. FWS. No. Yes, I can find the connecting with the firewall module FWSM. Oh, so we get into VI. So where we were? FWSM. To configure a module, we use the command like a mod CSM to enter module configuration mode. NAMs are like a remote monitoring and packet capture device. It is controlled via web browser. So NAM stands for NAM stands for. Okay, let me remember the line. So I will quickly jump between back and forth between it. Okay. NAM stands for NAM network analysis module. Okay. So what I will do, I will remember the number 657 and jump between that. Okay, so let me page down it. Okay. So the FWSM operates on a context mode. To check the context, we can use the show context command, and change context will switch to the mentioned context. Okay. So modules of a switch comes into two types. It is work either as a line card or as a service module. Okay, the line card will be used for connectivity because it will contain the physical interfaces, while the service module, which is used for functionality to provide additional features. For example, the routing capabilities and additional feature which will be provided by the service module, or I can say the IDS, intrusion detection system, or intrusion prevention system, IPS, will be provided as a service module, while faster interfaces or additional interfaces will be provided by the line card. The CSM are not a fabric enabled, but this does not affect its throughput, but it will affect its load balancing capabilities, and concurrent session handling may slow down the inter-module communication. So basically, CSM, which was stands for Content System Module, I guess. Let me move to that, which was 546. Yes, 652. Navigate to 652. Yes, it was 653. Okay, so we were at CSM, content switching module. Yes, so content switching module are not the fabric enabled. This does not affect its throughput, but it will affect its load balancing capabilities, and concurrent session handling may slow down inter-module communication. So because it's not a fabric enabled, so it will not able to communicate with multiple device at single time. So it will limit its performance if it's providing its all its output to a dedicated service. So it may have a hard time load balancing stuff. So basically, it's a simple disclaimer. To configure a module, we can use the command mod CSM with a module number to enter module configuration mode. NAMs are a remote monitoring, probe, and packet capture device. It is controlled via web browser. So NAM is a module which is used for remote monitoring of a device, and it will be controlled via web browser. Basically, it will have a UI, HTML based web server which serves a web page. That's it. Connecting with firewall module, which stands for FWSM, can be done using the session slot with slot number, proc, and process name. I guess proc stands for process. By default, the slot number is 1. Actually, I don't think that these kind of things will be used in an instant time, but we just have to keep an eye or have a hold of the legacy of the networking, so we can understand what network engineers go through in order to excel in our life or as a career. Okay, managing ID introduction detection module can be done using the same command as firewall, but Cisco recommends using a VPN, security management solution, or Cisco security analysis reporting system. Cisco security monitoring, analysis, and response system. So, in order to manage the IDS module, Cisco provided few programs or recommends that we use either this or either that to help you efficiently monitor it. Now, the thing was a single thing about the Flex WAN modules. The Flex WAN modules enable communication with WAN, wide area network. So basically, you can understand that Normally switches don't have a dedicated WAN port or LAN port. Every port is same to the switch. It may be have some speed uh, differences, because some port may be of 10 gigs while the other ports may be of 1 gig, or there may be or higher or lower speed differences in the different model of switches, but it don't have a dedicated kind of modules. So flex WAN modules actually provide the capability or maybe the routing capability in terms of having a WAN access, for example, with a routing capability on which dedicated route it will forward to, it will be provided by the flex WAN module. Next, communication media modules enables connectivity with the analog phones or modems. Modem, which itself stands for modulation and demodulation. So communication modules actually enable those kind of features. And this is our dash 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 explaining that we have reached up say end of a section, and so this will mark the end of my video, this video. And please be assured, be make subscribe or do subscribe so we can connect once again back with another video in the same topic. And thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.